Mysterio's did it!
For the first time in WWE history, a father and son hold the WWE Tag Team titles. What the hell?
You know who sucks? A father who lays his hands on his own son. Mom? Shut up! I'm this generation's Eddie Guerrero.
Dominik Mysterio's rise in WWE has been nothing short of fascinating. When he first debuted, many saw him as just Rey Mysterio's son, a talented but unpolished second-generation wrestler who had big shoes to fill. But in the span of just a few years, he has transformed into one of the most despised and effective heels in WWE. Fans don't just boo him. They practically riot every time he picks up a microphone. This isn't by accident. This is the result of smart booking, a well-crafted character, and a young wrestler who has fully embraced his role. So how did Dominik Mysterio go from a generic babyface to one of WWE's most hated villains? And why does he stand out in an era where so many heels struggle to get real heat? Dominik's journey in WWE started long before he ever stepped into the ring. Fans first saw him as a child during the infamous 2005 storyline, where Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero fought over his custody. It was one of WWE's most dramatic and emotional storylines, and while Dominik wasn't a performer at the time, his presence was unforgettable. Fast forward to 2020, and Dominik finally made his in-ring debut against Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. His performance was solid, and WWE clearly had big plans for him. But there was a problem. He was too clean-cut, too generic, and too reliant on his father's legacy. He didn't have his own identity. WWE tried to establish Dominik by keeping him in a tag team with Rey, even giving them a run as SmackDown Tag Team Champions. But while the matches were decent, the reaction to Dominik wasn't quite there. Fans respected him, but they didn't care about him. He lacked charisma, he struggled on the mic, and despite his athletic ability, he seemed lost in the shuffle. Then came Clash at the Castle, 2022, the night everything changed. Dominik shocked the WWE Universe when he turned on his father and attacked Edge, officially aligning himself with the Judgment Day. It was a moment that nobody saw coming, and it was the best decision of his career. For the first time, Dominik had an edge. He wasn't just Rey Mysterio's son, he was his own man. And not just any man, but a cowardly, smug, and arrogant villain who immediately became one of the most hated figures in WWE. The brilliance of Dominik's heel turn wasn't just that he betrayed his father, it was how he leaned into his new persona. Instead of trying to be a tough guy or a dominant force, he went in the opposite direction. He became a whiny, entitled brat who constantly relied on the Judgment Day to protect him. He started wearing darker gear, growing out his hair, and adopting a new, smug attitude. And perhaps most importantly, he started cutting promos that were so irritating, so insufferable, that the crowd couldn't help but boo him out of the building. Dominik's success as a heel isn't just about his betrayal of Rey, it's about the way he generates heat. In WWE, there's a difference between cool heel heat and real heel heat. Some bad guys like Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins in their prime heel runs are so good that fans actually start cheering them. That's not the case with Dominik. He doesn't get respect boos. He gets, "We genuinely hate you" boos. Every time he picks up a microphone, the crowd erupts in a chorus of jeers so loud that he can barely get a word out. It's reminiscent of Vicky Guerrero's legendary "Excuse Me" promos, where the crowd was so loud that it completely drowned her out. What makes Dominik's heat so effective is that he never tries to fight against it. He embraces it. Some wrestlers get flustered when a crowd turns on them, but Dominik lets the hatred fuel him. He smirks, he stumbles over his words, and he acts like the boos don't bother him, even though it's clear they do. That level of commitment is rare for young wrestlers, and it's a big reason why his heel work stands out. A key part of Dominik's success is his association with the Judgment Day, particularly Rhea Ripley. Their dynamic has been one of the most entertaining parts of WWE programming. Dominik plays the role of the spoiled little brother, constantly hiding behind Rhea and acting tough only when she's around to back him up. The way he clings to Rhea, the way he lets her do the heavy lifting, and the way he completely crumbles when he's forced to fight on his own, it's all brilliant heel work. It's a dynamic that makes him even more hateable because he never gets what he deserves. Every time it looks like he's about to get his comeuppance, the Judgment Day saves him, which only makes the fans want to see him get destroyed even more. Dominik's mic work has also improved dramatically since turning heel. Early on, his promos felt robotic and forced, but now they feel natural. He knows exactly how to push the audience's buttons, whether it's by calling Rey a deadbeat dad or bragging about his prison experience after spending a single night in jail. The prison dom gimmick is a perfect example of how good he's become at being an annoying heel. It's a completely ridiculous gimmick. He spent one night in county jail and suddenly acts like he's a hardened criminal. And yet, that's exactly why it works. He's so delusional, so out of touch, that fans can't help but boo him every time he brings it up. In the ring, Dominik has also made subtle but effective changes to his style. As a babyface, he wrestled too much like Rey, fast-paced, high-flying, and exciting. But as a heel, he's slowed things down, using more dirty tactics and relying on interference. He's not trying to impress the fans anymore. He's trying to frustrate them. He cheats to win, he stalls, he takes shortcuts. That's exactly what a good heel should do. Comparing Dominik to past great heels, it's easy to see why he's special. He has the arrogance of a young Randy Orton, the obnoxiousness of The Miz, and the cowardly tactics of classic Eddie Guerrero. But what makes him unique is that he's doing it in an era where true heel heat is rare. In today's WWE, many heels are cheered because they're too good to hate. But Dominik, he gets real, genuine, we don't want to see you succeed heat. And that's something WWE desperately needs. Looking ahead, Dominik's future in WWE is bright. He's already won the NXT North American Championship, proving that WWE sees him as a key player. But where does he go from here? Could he one day challenge for a world title? Could he turn on the Judgment Day and go solo? The possibilities are endless. But one thing is certain. He's no longer just Rey Mysterio's son. He's Dominik Mysterio, one of the best young heels WWE has seen in years. His transformation is proof that a great heel doesn't need to be the biggest, strongest, or most dominant wrestler. They just need to know how to get under the fans' skin. And Dominik has mastered that art. He has embraced the hate. He has leaned into his weaknesses, and he has turned them into strengths. That's what makes him WWE's best young heel today. So, what do you think? Has Dominik Mysterio earned his place as the top heel of his generation? Or is there someone else who deserves that title? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like and subscribe for more WWE content. Until next time, I'll see you in the ring.